What a year it has been in the garden, from the first sign of life in March, through spring vibrant growth, summer bold color, autumn's fading beauty, and finally the quiet elegance of winter. 2025 was a journey of change and discovery. In this review, I will share the highlight of each month, the lesson learned, and the idea that shaped my garden. If you love seeing how the garden evolves month by month, stay with me. This year might inspire you for your next garden season. Last winter started off almost snowless, but January finally brought a beautiful blanket of snow. It was just right amount, not overwhelming, but enough to make the garden shine. I love those moments when snowflakes drift gently from the sky, adding a quiet magic to the landscape. Last winter was also special because Mrs. Poppin finally shows off her vibrant red berries after a few years of waiting. The fire sheep abovite and the Picea pungent ruby teardrop have really grown, adding structure and color even in the cold months. The snow didn't bury everything like in the past year. You could still see the seed heads of hummingbird mint blue boa stand strong. Sprinkled with the snow like tiny crowns, they held the snow so gracefully. It was a perfect winter scene. I decided to leave most of the plants standing instead of tidying it up in fall. I wanted the garden to keep its structures and give me something interesting to look out during those long cold Zone 5B winters. The dry stem, seed heads, and silhouette added texture and movement. Even without leaves or flower, the garden still had life. By mid-January, my fire sheep abovite had lost its coppery winter tips, revealing the bright green inner foliage. I immediately knew what happened. Deer had visited. Thankfully, my backyard now has a 6-foot fence, so I didn't have to worry about deer damage anymore. Even though I was happy with the snow we had, it didn't last as long as it used to. Still, the cold was enough to let my conifer show off their beautiful winter color. February and March were a constant cycle of snow and thaw. Years ago, we used to have a deep piles of snow that hardly melted until spring. That blanket of the snow acted as a natural insulation for plants. Without it, and without proper mulch and water in fall, some plants didn't make it through the winter. It's a reminder of how much our winter have changed. One thing I enjoy about winter is seeing the bone of the garden, the structure that remains when everything else fades. It's a chance to imagine what next and start planning for the spring. These quiet moments are full of possibilities. By the end of March, the first signs of spring appeared. My earliest bulbs, dwarf iris and winter aconite, started to bloom, bringing a color back to the garden. And after a year of settling in, Helleborus Joker rewarded me with a beautiful display of flowers. It's always exciting to see life return after months of winter. We visited Chicago Botanic Garden in mid-March, where I saw snowdrops sparkling in the light when almost nothing else was blooming. This simple beauty inspired me to plant some snowdrop in my own garden last month. You can see more garden inspiration from the link in this video. As soon as April arrived, the first shrub to bloom was Forsythia show-off starlet, bringing bright golden spots that lifted my spirit during the difficult time with my mother's health. Then came the daffodil, ice fossil, and ice king, shining in the garden. I love how their yellow coronas contrast beautifully with the emerging burgundy peony shoots. The Hellebore Joker remained strong, and I'm fascinated how its sepal changed color as the season progresses. By mid-April, my first early blooming tulip, Tulipa annelita, opened, revealing its striking red throat, while daffodil continued their beautiful sequence of blooms. If you're curious about all the daffodil varieties in my landscape, I have a video that showcases them in detail. By late April, the garden finally started to feel full. Hellebore ivory prince and Merlin added their charm, and then came the grand finale, the peak of the tulip season. Darwin tulips brought their big, bold flowers, filling the garden with a vibrant color, while daffodils reached their peak as well. It was a spectacular spring display. Planting bulbs with the different bloom times, early, mid, and late, like daffodils, tulips, and alliums, is the key to extending the flowering season in the garden. This simple strategy keeps the garden colorful for weeks instead of just a few days. I also love planting early, mid, and late blooming daffodil and tulips together, mixing small flowers with a bold, dramatic bloom in clumps. Each grouping feels like its own little bouquet display in the garden. The only challenge is how to keep track of all the varieties once they are mixed. This year I planted more hellebores in my front garden and underneath the maple tree because they are so drought tolerant, but that change disturbed my hummingbird mint blue boa, making it less showy in summer. I harvested its seeds, hoping to winter sow and replant them this coming spring. As May arrived, the first perennial to bloom was Geum Mai Tai, followed by the columbines, which helped bridge the gap between the spring bulbs and the summer perennials. This is also the time when my conifer put on their show. Picea abies braze with its fiery red tips, Punch showing pink cones, Picea pungent ruby teardrops revealing its ruby cones, and lime glow juniper returning to its bright lime color. And after years of waiting, I finally saw a beautiful bloom of Clematis omoshiro. It was worth the wait. By mid-May, the garden was perfumed with the sweet grape scent of Iris pallida variegata. Its soft purple flower and striking variegated foliage added a pop of brightness. Dorothy Rose Columbine also bloomed, though I'm still unsure about its bold pink contrasting with the blue tone of Amsonia. This is also peony season. I planted pastel elegant peony and was initially disappointed by the size of the tuber, but once it bloomed, I had no complaints. I also added first arrival, hoping it lives up to its name as the first Ito peony to bloom, along with Canary Brilliant. My copper kettle peony put on a stunning display this year. And Coral Charm bloomed last, fading into the surprising beautiful tone in the part shade end of the season. Meanwhile, Checkmark Trilogy Vigilla showed off its kaleidoscope of pinks. I almost second-guessed this plant, but its rich burgundy foliage in fall convinced me to keep it. Geum Totally Tangerine bloomed alongside Allium Pinball Wizard, creating a bold contrast. By the end of May, the garden felt whimsical with a bubbly haze of alliums, Amsonia, and nine barks, frothy white blooms. Bearded iris, Siberian iris, and Dutch iris took turns before Penstemon began its June takeover. Unfortunately, I lost the stunning Slovak bearded iris due to the tuber rot caused by improper spacing. Planting them too close isn't ideal. It led to overlapping and rot. June is one of the favorite months in the backyard. White lavender blooms paired with the burgundy foliage of Penstemon create a stunning contrast against the vibrant orange of Geum. Both are the long-blooming perennials, and I love having that patch of color that lasts. In the side garden, lupines I started from seed years ago now bloom alongside Heliopsis sunstruck. My Also Easy rose planted this spring is already flowering, contrasting beautifully with the purple Scabiosa butterfly blue. The front garden shines with foliage contrast, Chartreuse Sedum Angelina against the burgundy tones of the Geum Dark Reader and the large clumps of Geum Bloom Chocolata with a chocolate bronze foliage. is a tough spot just like under the maple tree where the shallow roots compete for the space. This month also brought surprises. Martagon lilies bloom earlier than others. Fairy morning blends perfectly with my garden colors. While Arabian Night sunned me with a rich colors tone, I didn't realize how much I would love them, and now I'm excited to add more of the Martagon lilies in my garden. The great thing about Martagon lilies is they can thrive in the part shade woodland setting, make it excellent for the shady spots where other lilies struggle. By mid-June, Echinacea pallida appeared, its droopy petals dancing in the wind and light, such an artistic touch. My newly planted Eryngium jade flood bloomed in its first year, with variegated foliage that blushes pink in cold weather and flower that age into purple blue for a two-tone effect. I was surprised to see the Iris insata variegata returned, since they usually are short-lived and love water. Some variety produce such a stunning bloom that I can't resist trying again. In the front garden, Asclepis tuberosa finally served its purpose. I spotted monarch caterpillar by the end of June and even witnessed one transform into butterfly. I shared what I learned about Pollinator Garden in a video linked in the description. Mid-June also brought daylilies. Xylem Double Classic survived deer damage and gave a peachy contrast to the purple tones of Boom Chocolata. Always afternoon, rebloomed despite a short initial flush. Finally, the lilies Tinilco arrived. Sadly, my Coco Loco didn't survive, but I found a good deal at Lowe's and decided to try again with a better winter protection this time. I also planted Clematis Diamond Ball to climb over Mr. Poppin for added seasonal interest. And to finish the month, the architectural flowers of Color Guard Yucca made a bold statement. This month, the spring transplant Opening Act Pinkadot bloomed. I really love this view, the soft pink flowers framed by a backdrop of the purple Penstemon, white Nepeta and the bold spade-shaped foliage of the Iris pallida variegata. I definitely need to add more Nepeta here, and I'm thinking about adding the Phlox paniculata next year to make this area even fuller. July is when my garden flourished with larkspur, self-seeded and self-pollinated, creating a dreamy mix of lavender, pink, and purple. They pair beautifully with Astilbe Dark Side of the Moon, and they love their strong stem compared with their cousin Delphinium. Daylilies also take center stage this month. The Happily Return, which came with the house, surprised me by blending well with the OT lily, Zelmira, and Heliopsis Bleeding Heart. Even though yellow isn't my favorite color, I have grown to appreciate its fall foliage glow. On my triangular bed, Hummingbird Mint Blue Boa and Sedum Blue Pearl contrast with Lime Glow Juniper. My backyard has Mountain Mint adds silvery foliage that frames the flowers. The Lictrum bloomed for the first year, dusting the garden with a soft pink from afar. Surprisingly, my first perennial mum, First Lady, started blooming early. Though its vast life is short, I will keep it since July needs more color. Homecoming Mum followed, and while its summer color isn't my favorite, patience pays off. It's turned a soft peach in fall. Other highlights include eryngium forming its big blue glow and refreshing rain that made my burgundy lilies shine. Mid-July brought a wave of yellow from Rudbeckia goldsturm and Heliopsis bleeding heart in the front yard, usually dominated by purple from blue boa. I disturbed that area planting 4 hellebores, so I'm winter sowing blue boa seed to restore the color next year. Sadly, I also lost Nathalie Hardy gladiolas and our Stromeria golden tiara, even though they had been returning for the last 2 years. July was short for us because we traveled to visit our family in Thailand. I also have gardening inspiration from Thailand, link in the description. By the time we returned, it was already mid-August. My standard panicle hydrangea bloomed but flopped, even after hard pruning every winter. Hummingbird mint, rupestris, and echinops offer only a few blooms, leaving the space feeling sparse. Until a pink has appeared from Thalictrum lavender mist. Nearby, Euphorbia marginatas show off its striking variegated foliage, like a white clown from afar. I have noticed my garden lacks of strong summer garden, but just when I was thinking about what to add, surprise lilies pop up. What a treat! I also love the pairing of summer blooming alliums with white Calamintha nepeta create a fresh airy look. This year I tried Rudbeckia Sahara from seeds, and I'm loving these bold rich burgundy tones. They might reseed and return in my Zone 5B garden, so I will keep experimenting. Cutting back Penstemon seedheads was the right call. The new burgundy growth on Pocahontas and Onyx Pearl looks stunning even with only a few reblooms. Firefly peach yarrow planted in spring impressed me with the strong stems. No Chelsea chops or staking needed so far. Close by I tested Stromeria Coral Chaos to see if it will overwinter here. It is known to be cold hardy for Zone 5B based on the Cornell University. Toward the end of the month, variegated obedient plant adds soft lavender pink bloom near dwarf resin sage and sea lavender, dusting the garden with purple. During fall break, we visited New York City and found amazing ideas for using native plants in urban spaces. Check out that video if you're curious. September brings color back to the garden. Liatrus aspera adds striking purple spires, while Stromeria summer relief blooms again. A new favorite, Mum's Stadium Queen, pops with the two-tone petals against the rich burgundy of Panther9 bark. With fewer hummingbird mint blue boa this year, my front garden feels quieter. Rudbeckia goldsturm has turned to seedheads and only few rebloom remain from Heliopsis bleeding heart. As fall approach, dwarf ironweed Southern Cross show purple blooms near one of my favorite conifer, Forever Goldie. Mum season begins with Jessica Louisa, followed by Homecoming, now glowing in salmon peach tones as the weather cools. Another standout, Mum Coquette, surprises me with its delicate pink petals. I didn't realize how much I would love pink. A drip of wood aster in pink and purple shines this year Mildoroffi, creating a stunning scene alongside the blue Salendarina, weeping blue spruce, and golden fall foliage of the Siberian iris. Japanese anemones add robust pink blooms, while Karsten milkopine shift to a yellow brush look as the temperature drop. By the end of the month, I even crafted Halloween wreath using the Penstemon seedheads. Link in the description if you would like to see it. And though blue boa was minimal in my front garden, in my triangular bed, the dry seedheads remained upright, giving winter interest to the garden in this spot. October is when I first noticed the red berries on Mrs. Poppins. Interestingly, the old plants look yellow all season, almost like chlorosis. Maybe caused by the gravel I added to deter squirrels. Even after applying the iron tone, there's no improvement, so a soil test is on my to-do list. Nearby, Caryopteras beyond midnight bloom in deep blue, attracting sleepy bees against a backdrop of delicate white from Lady in Black aster. I love the sunsets this time of the year. They come earlier, and the bright orange make me feel warmth and calm at the end of the day. October is a peak mum season in my garden. Royal Glamour and many others put on a spectacular show. If you're curious about the varieties, check out my October garden tour, link in the descriptions. Cool weather and golden light make this month special, and I even capture early morning footage just before sunrise, dark background with just enough light for video, creating a dramatic effect. Eryngium Big Blue surprised me by blooming after looking nearly dead, glowing a purple blue in the fall light. Mums remain the star of the October in my garden, but I know I need more perennials to fill the August and September gap. Then came the first frost, leaving the icy edges on petals and leaves, a magic touch. Just when you think blooming is over, fall crocus appears between geranium dark reacher and sedum angelina, adding the excitement. Several plants started to show fall interest now. Shikmai Trilogy Vigila with a rich foliage, Southern Charm Dwarf Ironweed with a paintbrush-like seedheads, and Amsonia lime green foliage. October truly feels like a season of mix and surprise. November brings a robust color change. My maple tree turns a brilliant red, and I love how the light shines through those leaves as they flicker in the wind. Daylily Happy Returns foliage grows golden yellow, while Caryopteras Beyond Midnight deepens to rich dark tone. Checkmark Trilogy Weigela shows stunning red wine foliage, and the variegated obedient plants give a second flush with purple tones. Euphorbia marginata shift to bright yellow, and Coral Charm Peony foliage turn orange, blending with the Coral Caveria mum nearby, almost like they're one plant. Some mums like Helen May display red wine foliage, while fading petals of French vanilla brush pink. I also have mums blooming this month. These are my cold hardy trial. You can see the detail in my November garden tour or shorts. Amsonia begins its golden transition, though I may have missed its peak. Many mums that bloom for months are winding down, and now the garden relies on the conifer and evergreen for structure. I do minimal cleanup to keep seed heads and stem for winter interest and to provide habitat and food for birds and insects. In one spot, I noticed a lack of fine texture foliage, so I planted carrots with yellow blades to brighten the area, hoping they return next year after last year's loss. In the front yard, Mrs. Poppins showed fewer berries than last January, maybe due to the dead branches, something I will have to check in spring. I miss the seed heads of hummingbird mint blue boa here, but the ones that remain stand strong, rattling in the wind like a tiny bells. Fire Sheba bovitae turns bronze, and Karsten Mucopine glow golden yellow against the deep green of True Man juniper. November feels like a season of contrast, warm foliage tones, crisp air, and the promise of winter structure. As November fades into December, the first snow transforms my garden into the serene white canvas. I love this seasonal shift. It's a time to pause, reflect, and dream about new designs. Snow resting on the Rudbeckia seedheads and red berry peek through the white blanket bring life to the winter scene. Without these structures, seedheads, conifers, the garden would feel empty and winter blues might set in. During the recent heavy snowfall, I brushed off wet snow to protect my evergreens. Last month, I applied wood stop and water well before the freeze, hoping to minimize winter damage. Now, winter offers me rest after a long recovery, but it won't stop my gardening spirit. It's just a time to plan ahead. Thank you for joining me on this garden review. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and share your winter garden thoughts. Wishing you all a happy new year. And we'll see you next time. Bye!